everyone. Welcome, welcome. Is there a chat? Okay, there's a chat. Great. Where's everyone
Yeah,
calling from? I am currently based in New York, so I'm dialing in from Brooklyn. Where's everyone from? Ooh, okay. Nice, nice. Toronto, Chicago, Seattle. Ooh, India. Isn't that kind of late? Wait, is it? Oh, it's not that late, is it? No, it's okay. It's like nighttime.
yeah, it's 9:30.
Mexico. Oh, okay, 9:30. Okay, that's pretty good.
I'm sitting in India.
Cape Town, Ukraine. Ooh, Nigeria. Oh, super international crowd today. What a
Yeah,
party here. Okay. Well, I hope people are getting like their dinners or a coffee. You can just sit back and relax, and I will take you through some of the concepts for FVM and IPC, and then show you a very short end of a demo, because there was a lot of prep work, and if I build it from scratch, it would take more than this session. So I'll show you the end of the demo and what you can like expect once you start building. Cool. So I will kick it off. Let me just share my screen. And I'll go slow. So if anyone has questions, you can pop it in the chat and I will do my best to answer them. All right.
cool. Before you start presenting, let me just officially welcome you. All right.
Oh, okay. Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So I think we're live. So yeah. So hey everyone, and welcome to the Hack workshop titled Building On-Chain with FVM and IPC. Joining us today is Sarah, who will be taking us through the session. And with that, I'll pass it over to Sarah. Workshop started.
Thanks, Calvin. Okay, yeah, so as I mentioned, as you guys were coming in, I'm going to run through FVM and IPC. So this will go for the Filecoin bounty, which is probably the biggest bounty in this hackathon now. So we'll make it painless. I promise it's pretty easy to set up. You should be able to build your dapp. I think a lot of the work will be for you to innovate and hack a meaningful solution. And I'll talk through some use cases that you can think about and key concepts that you need to know. All right. I'm also on the mentorship channel. I usually reply within like give me a day. I also have invited a few more other folks from our team to come in and answer questions. I see a lot coming in on the Filecoin channel, so continue asking your questions there, and we can build with you for this whole month. All right. Okay, so let me share my screen and kick it off. So a quick intro from me. My name is Sarah. I am currently leading a new team called Filecoin Builders, so for short, Philby. We are part of the Filecoin ecosystem. I was previously around doing DX during the launch of the Filecoin Virtual Machine, all the way for about a year or so, and then moved on to double up to cover Interplanetary Consensus for DX. Leading the DX team there, which is the scalability framework that is currently targeting Filecoin, and I will share more because it is not just Filecoin. And so now I lead a team that is purely focused on builder enablement, from early builders to more mature teams. Our goal is really to help move builders over to building like a sustainable, meaningful solution in the Filecoin ecosystem. So if you're looking to get your start with a Web3 startup, or you want to own a tool, and contribute to the ecosystem, we are here to build with you. And we have many different initiatives. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. If you want to find out more and see all the updates, follow us on Twitter at FVMDev. Cool. So I don't know if everyone's like on the mobile, on their desktop, but it'll be really useful to give me a show of hands on how many of you have tried building with FVM or IPC before. Like if you can just give like a reaction, it will give me a good sense as to how much you guys know already. Okay, I see a few. That's great. So you guys have actually built with FVM and IPC, right? Awesome. And how many of you here are like 101 IPC FVM? Okay, we have a few. Okay. Cool. So if you're watching the recording too, we will try to span the whole spectrum of 101s to going a little bit deeper into what you can think about building. So just to give I think setting context is always really important. The Filecoin master plan is, I think, very well amplified at this point. We wanted to build the world's largest decentralized platform. We onboarded a ton of data. And then with all the data on there and more people having storage needs, we wanted to allow programmability on the network, so programmable storage, so that people can use it within their dApps and connect easily rather than it being a siloed like DePIN infrastructure or a backend that you have to, go through a lot of manual steps to connect to, which isn't very usable. So this has opened up a lot of different conversations within Filecoin, which is like things such as, rather than storing huge, vast amounts of data from one institution onto Filecoin, if we are opening up programmability, everyone's going to be building with it. So how can we also enable smaller pieces of data to be uploaded and stored to Filecoin, and not just using IPFS, because IPFS is pinning and it's also not, it's not reliable for the long term, because your peer-to-peer nodes could always go down or close off, and so your data might disappear. So how can we then provide reliable guarantees with Filecoin but allow builders to use it? So it opened up a lot of questions. Moving on from step 3, so we did step 3 last year in March, and we're still continuing to develop FVM. My team's also in charge of continuing the roadmap for FVM. It's also EVM compatible, which is why we partner so closely with Eve Global. So all the tools that you're familiar with are available for you to use with FVM. And then step 4, which is not shown here because this was the original vision from Juan, and that vision has grown since. Step 4 is then we started thinking about scalable networks. So Filecoin, as you know it, is mostly an L1. We don't have any L2s the same way that Ethereum has like Polygon and Arbitrum and so on. And so we thought about how can we provide a scaling solution for people to create so rather than provide a network on its own that we wanted to host, we thought, especially because FVM is EVM compatible, you can use it, you can do cross-chain with Polygon and so on. We thought, what new can we offer? And so we created IPC, which is a scalability framework that's hyper customizable. I'll talk a little bit about the use cases later, but the difference here is that it is highly optimized for Filecoin and is actually designed to support DePIN infrastructures more than anything else. And it's also designed to be multi-chain. So in general, you will see a lot from Filecoin coming in this year that will focus on exporting storage and retrieval services to the wider Web3 ecosystem rather than staying within the Filecoin ecosystem on its own, because it's a very powerful DePIN infra, but we want to export that to other ecosystems. So yeah, so that's a little bit of context setting. I thought that would be really useful to give to all of you. So moving on, as I mentioned, so to give you a sense of if you're new to Filecoin, when I came in new, there were a lot of different terms to figure out. And also I did not have a very clear structure of how the stack works within Filecoin. And so I think this is a really useful visual representation to give to anyone that wants to wrap their head around how they want to architect their solution. So the differences here is that we have the P2P network and IPFS is below on the dotted line across. So it is not on the blockchain, clarifying that. Usage of IPFS, of course, it's widely used, it's very popular, but it's also not exactly storage on Filecoin. And particularly for this hackathon, we're looking for usage beyond IPFS. IPFS is really good to use in complement to storing data on Filecoin, especially if you want to cache some data, put it as a data buffer, put it as somewhere where your storage provider can collect the data from. That's what IPFS is really useful for, but you're using it together with Filecoin. So if you're using IPFS alone for this hackathon, there's way more that you can do, and we're really looking to see that as the judging panel. So bear that in mind when you build your solution. So IPFS and P2P network are separate. They are not on the blockchain. Coming into the blockchain itself, just to be clear, Filecoin is the layer 0. FVM is the layer 1 on Filecoin, and it actually allows you to compute over state, but it's not a network on its own. It's very much intertwined with Filecoin. See it almost as a feature of Filecoin. And then we have the layer 2, which is enabled by IPC. And I'll talk a bit more about IPC in a bit. There's layer 2+. The goal is that you can really create a hierarchy of different subnets. We call them subnets, which are different networks. And so you can create layer 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, security decreases as you go down the line. Also, for the purpose of this hackathon, we highly recommend you stick to an L2 for now. L3s are still a little unstable because this is still a really new development for Filecoin. And so you guys are like working on early access products here. So yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But in general, this is how the stack works. So just a little bit on how FVM works, because I also got confused around what exactly is it doing. And so I think once you understand this crucial concept, it should make it much easier for you to design your solution. So what FVM does is actually it manipulates the metadata around storage deals on Filecoin. So when we say, and I know I have this, I'll walk you through this visual diagram, but when we say that FVM allows you to do programmable storage, you're not actually manipulating the pieces of data itself. Opening up the data file and manipulating the data within. So if you wanted to do changes to your data or queries, you would technically be calling the metadata of the storage deal. So if let's say you have your PCID or COMP, which is the proof of your data, that's what it will be calling, and then all that computation will technically happen off-chain or in a separate computation network like Lilypad or Co-op Hive. So the FVM works around the metadata of the file. So if you look at this diagram on your right, to give you a sense, the SP network is here. Storage providers are the ones storing data. The Filecoin blockchain is the one that represents all the storage deals that are made. And then the Filecoin Virtual Machine allows you to manipulate the metadata of your storage deal that is represented on Filecoin. All this does not touch your actual data. Your actual data is going to be sitting separately. Maybe your storage provider will collect your data from an IPFS buffer. That is where you store your data off-chain, the bigger data file, but it's represented on-chain and then manipulated by the FVM. Yeah, and so that allows you to then run different dapps such as compute, encryption, DeFi, data DAOs, and about the applications of FVM. There are two main applications. I think two features that have come up around programmable storage, and that is still a space that is rapidly developing. So if you want to build something new in this hackathon on what you can definitely check out, you can either come up with a solution yourself, or you can check out the 100 ideas. Well, it's not 100 right now, it's like 10 ideas for the hackathon. So ETH Global and I have and our team has worked on a list of ideas that you can check out. But look into that on what programmable storage can do and what you can possibly build. Out of your solution. One is aggregation